צילומי חוץ, הצילומים יארכו בערך 30 יום. פטריק יהיה כאן איתנו קרוב ל3 שבועות. אנחנו מצפים שהסרט יהיה גמור לאביב שנה הבאה, 2013. ואנחנו מאוד מאוד מתרגשים מזה שפטריק הסכים לבוא לכאן ולשחק בסרט הזה. אני מצטער שרשם לוקח מקומו של רשם במילים האלה, אבל זה חלום מאוד מאוד גדול של רשם שהתגשם, ואני מקווה שיספיק להגיע לכאן לענות לכל האנשים. אז הבמאי שלכם, מה שאתם רוצים לשאול.
I came to Israel for the first time last year as a tourist. I came to Israel for the first time last year, last April, as a tourist. I was between rehearsals and opening a stage production of Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice, playing a role that I had played 5 different times. The first time when I was 12 years old. And I had a little break, and I thought, in all these decades that have gone by, the one place that I should have visited, if I was to give this role very similar to, was Israel. Why had I never gone there? So I got myself on a plane, and I came alone, and I got a cab, and I went to Jerusalem, and I had 4 extraordinary days, and I didn't want to leave. The only thing that made me leave was that I had to go back to Stratford-on-Avon to open the production. And I told my friends and family that I couldn't wait to go back, and then, as is the nature of things in show business, I open a package and there is a script of an Israeli film, and it's set in Jerusalem. So I couldn't have been happier. And then I read the script and find out that it's very fine, and that it has some very distinguished actors in it. And so I am delighted to be back, not as a tourist, but as a part of an Israeli film production.
Have you ever seen any Israeli movie?
I was just telling Sasson now that I saw recently, I think in English, the title was The Band's Visit.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It's a beautiful movie, delicate and humorous and subtle, and with an outstanding performance in the heart of it.
Thank you.
Hi, hello. I'm Michelle from Channel 10. How does it feel to play in Israel?
I'll tell you in 4 days' time when I've had my first experience on the set. I have worked in the UK in movies and overseas numerous times around the world. I find that for the most part, when the doors are closed and the actors are rehearsing and the cameras are rolling, it's the set. Everyone is committed and focused and ready to work. But this project is going to be a little different, unlike anything else that I've ever done. Because every other character in the film, but Michael, my character, speaks Hebrew. Michael doesn't speak any Hebrew. Patrick might speak a little before this film is over. And so I just said now to Sasson, while you were talking, this is what it's going to be like for me in the movie. People are talking and I have no idea what they're saying. So what will I do, Sasson? Wait for silence and then speak.
Something like this. Don't trust us anyway.
Thank you. That's reassuring.
Yeah.
What made you agree after reading the script?
I like the script very much. And I have been recently, I'm not known for comedy performances. My work has tended to be a little heavy or serious. And I was asked recently, how would you like to be remembered? And I said, as someone who above all else was really funny. But I said, I don't think that's going to happen. But I have been attracted to comedy and lighter work all my life, but rarely had the opportunity to do it. Recently that's changed. Episodes of Extra with Ricky Gervais and a very charming episode of Frasier. And 2 days ago I shot a movie. I shot a movie in about 3.5 hours for Funny or Die. Who watches Funny or Die? Very cool people. With the Olympic gold medalist Ryan Lochte and Simon Pegg, the British movie actor. And I am told it is up and running now on their website. 2 days after we shot it. That's filmmaking. 48 hours and the film's out there. Well,
The producer would probably be very happy.
I don't recall there being a producer around. There were writers and directors and a cameraman. So, the script is delightful, and it is funny. The role is, he is an arrogant, self-obsessed, pompous Englishman. But then, are there any other kind? I shall, I hope, get some fun out of this character. And the interaction with the other characters in the movies. I mean, the poster here says it all.
כמובן אני נרגש לא רק מהסרט הזה שהוא מקסים, אני נרגש לפגוש את פטריק סטיוארט פעם ראשונה. יש לו אג'נדה כל כך גדולה ועשירה של עשייה. אני ראיתי אותו הרבה פעמים בסדרות טלוויזיה, ואני יודע שהוא גם איש תיאטרון. You have to believe it that I'm saying good things about you. הוא איש תיאטרון, ואני רואה את עצמי גם בראש ובראשונה איש תיאטרון ואיש קולנוע. יש לי קשר חזק לאנשים שנמצאים גם בתחום הזה, ואני יודע שתיאטרון יקר לו, הוא עשה הרבה תפקידים שקספיריים. בקיצור, אני נרגש ומחכה לעבוד עם האיש הזה, בשבילי זה מחמאה לעבוד איתו, ואני מאמין שהעבודה שלנו תהיה נענה, ואני מקווה שגם התוצאה תהיה כזאת.
איך הייתה התגובה שלך, או שאפשר לשחקנים לשינוי מהיר?
תראה, אנחנו אנשים מסתגלים, שחקנים מקבלים טקסט חדש, אז זהו, אנחנו אחרים. האמת היא שהבחירה הקודמת הייתה, נורא שמחנו עליה, כי יש לה את הקו הקומי שידוע, אבל שמחנו גם כן על השינוי הזה, כי באמת מגיע אלינו איש במה ואיש קולנוע באמת ייחודי, עם הרבה ניסיון והרבה קרדיט והרבה עשייה מוכחת. אני חושב שאנחנו יכולים רק לשמוח על זה, ואנחנו באמת שמחים.
It wasn't so, it was worse.
A question to Sir Patrick Stewart. Did you have a chance to see Reshev's film Lost Island, and what's your impression of him?
I did not see that. No. Reshev, if he were to walk in the room now, I would not know that it was him. We have never met. We've talked on the phone though, and we've done a lot of work on the phone. Is this him?
No.
You know, there is a lot to discuss before you start work on a film, and when someone is several thousand miles away, it's hard. But we got through the work. I even sang on the telephone, not for Reshev, or our arranger. Don't expect too much, by the way, from the singing part. But Conversation can tell you a great deal. And I learned that he was very open and accessible. And that's really all that I require. That he is creative as well, I have no doubt. And so it's every time the door opens. It is going to be an entirely novel experience for me, working in this way. Usually, you know, I've spent days sitting down with the director discussing all kinds of details. And I think, to a certain extent, we're going to be making it up as we go along.
And there's some advantages in this situation. You don't have to borrow a lot of the text and the script, and you have to believe it and accept it more or less as it is.
I as an actor, I over-prepared as a younger actor, and as I got older, I have learned that although preparation is still, well, I think Peter Brook said preparation is 90% of performance. I now find that I enjoy my work more when it's much freer and more improvised. That's the time when it seems to me that the best opportunity for truth to appear is present.
I haven't reached this stage yet, but I'm going there.
I've seen your work. I think you're wrong.
Have you ever played the obnoxious and the pompous Englishman? Do you have any experience in playing this? Or?
All my life. I must have done, yes, inevitably. This character, he's also an opportunist too. He wants to make some money. He's broke. And that lends a certain edge to his character. He's also lonely too. He doesn't have anybody in his life, and that adds a poignancy to the script. But I always try to look for the novelty, the newness, the freshness, and something that I haven't done before, and I'm sure there are going to be plenty of opportunities here.
What were the reactions in your surroundings when you said you were going to film a movie in Jerusalem?
From my acting colleagues, envy. Yeah, everyone was fascinated and interested. English theatre companies have come, of course, to Israel often. And there were, I think, 2 occasions in my career when there was a possibility that I might come and do something here at the Habima. But for different reasons it never, ever materialized. And work with the British Council, too. Nor did that happen. So, as I said, I had to buy my airfare and come as a tourist. But yesterday morning, I was at the Olympic Stadium in London. They have a closed-circuit television program called The Stadium Show, and it's only seen on the big screens in the Olympic Stadium. And they took me, I was their guest yesterday morning, they took me down onto the track, well, not onto the track, but alongside the 100 meters track near the start. And interviewed me down there in front of 80,000 people. And there was a strong and warm reaction. Actually, a slight gasp, I think, when I was asked, "What are you doing next?" And I said, "Tomorrow morning I fly to Israel to start work on an Israeli movie." So I've done a little bit of promotion in advance. And the last thing I did before my plane took off this morning, I tweeted that I was really sad to be leaving the Olympics because we have been obsessed with it in London for the past 10 days, 2 weeks. But that I was looking forward to this project here.
can we expect from you in the upcoming years in terms of the two characters here that you are most identified with, of course, Professor Xavier and Captain Picard?
Well, the thing about science fiction and fantasy is that nobody ever really dies or disappears for good. They could always be resurrected in some way. My feeling is that I have hung my spacesuit up for the last time. But then, I was filming with Simon Pegg 2 days ago, and he was saying, what about it? What about coming back? And it would be delightful. Those were important years in my life. In 1987, my life changed. If you didn't go to the Royal Shakespeare Company, you'd never heard of me. And in 1987, I went to Hollywood to start shooting a series that was supposed to be a failure. I had been guaranteed that it would fail. I'm serious. Everyone I said to me, because I said, I can't sign 6 years contract. I have plays to do, and I have things I've got to see to. And they said, don't worry. You'll be lucky to make it through the first season. You cannot revive an iconic series like Star Trek. Well, as William Goldman said in Hollywood, nobody knows anything about anything. Is that true?
That's right.
That's the producer's answer. But, what can I say? X-Men, much more possibility there. I'm not permitted to say, but watch this space.
Since you've mentioned your science fiction roles, what do you think about the recent trend of replacing the science fiction trend with dark fantasy instead of the utopian science fiction that you represent in many ways?
Well, there has been a merging of the two, a kind of crossover that's happening. And I personally find that really interesting. If we were to connect somehow Star Trek and X-Men, that would be intriguing. That the two genres could blend in some way that would be exciting. I'm for it. I believe in experimentation. And what's happening now? I never thought that science fiction and fantasy would reinvent itself again as it has done. And we see by the success of these movies that there's an audience, huge audience for it worldwide.
What was your favorite character till now?
Favorite character that I played? And I'm going to disappoint you because there really isn't one. I hope that if you ask me this question in 3 or 4 days' time, I will say Lord Michael in Hunting Elephants. It tends to be that the role that you're playing is...
The last one, yes. The last role is always the best one.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I think all actors feel that. It's what absorbs all of your energy and imagination and creativity. And I've been fortunate to play some great classic roles. And they have consumed my life. I played Macbeth for a year, exactly 365 days, which was slightly creepy. And I think if we'd have gone much longer, I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have survived. It was beginning to affect me so badly playing this crazy guy. And yet it was an opportunity I would not have missed. If you get good work and good roles,
yeah, you don't know where to get it. Sometimes you expect or looking forward for a classical role, and you do it, and you're not so happy. And sometimes you get the satisfaction of something you didn't expect. So, but always the last one is the one you're feeling. This is your newborn kid that they are taking care of. So hopefully the last one will be
the best.
Here, here.
אני אשאל בעברית, כי אנגלית שהיא לא שקספירית. האם אתה מודע לכך שהגעת למקום הכי מסוכן בעולם? והאם לדעתך אומנים, כוכבים בסדר גודל שלך, יכולים לתרום לשלום? ומה דעתך לגבי הסכסוך הישראלי-פלסטיני? כל השאלות, אני חושב שזו שאלה אחת. אהוד, זו שאלה אחת.
תגיד, מה השאלה הראשונה? האם זה מסוכן?
האם אני יודע שהגענו למקום הכי מסוכן בעולם? But half hour from here, you can look about...
שמנו כיפת בזבח. The second question that was following that question was...
האם אומנים בסדר גודל שלו יכולים לתרום לשלום? מה דעתו על הסכסוך הישראלי-פלסטיני?
So that's the 5 hours.
No, they're all questions that I am happy to address. I do not think that it is possible to be in the world and not to be a political person. Living is politics. I have been actively engaged with politics all of my life. When I was 5 years old, I carried a placard outside a polling booth in the first post-war British elections. I have been a member of the British Labour Party all my life and a trades unionist. I'm known to be an active supporter of the British Labour Party. I did a lot of work with the Tony Blair government. I am very active with Amnesty International, Médecins Sans Frontières, and I could not possibly live any other way. So, yes, you say, although others might argue that Israel is the most dangerous place in the world, nevertheless, it is a place of difficulty and at times conflict and potential conflict. And it is certainly higher than it is living in West Oxfordshire, in the heart of England.